Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Brahma Mirastriparam Takare. Banu Shashi Bhamisito. Buddha Shah Guru Shah Shukra. Shani Rahu Keteva. Sarvigraha Shantikara Bhavantu. Om. Greetings and welcome to another episode of Cosmic Kev 100. This is your weekly astro video zine where we take the 12 signs of the zodiac, the planets and the houses, and try to make some sense of it for you. And my prayer is Supreme Creator of the universe, loving God, loving Heavenly Father, loving Mother, bless all the viewers and give me wisdom as I bring this forecast to people for this week, and may they in turn desire a personal relationship with you and your higher power and your higher glory. Amen. Okay, so what do we got now? This is for Wednesday, August 20th through Tuesday, which I believe will be August 26th of 2025. So, we're going to have a moon in the constellation of Cancer, and the part of Cancer that this moon is in a lunar mansion known as Pushama, or Pusha. Pushama is by Vedic astrologers considered to be perhaps the best nakshatra. It's ruled by Saturn. Its ruling deity is known as Lord Brisapati, or Brisapati, which is the planet Jupiter, basically. Saturn and Jupiter are the slowest moving planets in the visible eye. And because of that, they provide us with wisdom. Really, we don't get real wisdom by moving through life quickly. The other quality about Brisapati is its symbol. Its symbols are the udders of a cow. Another symbol is a flower, another symbol is an arrow. We were just in Punavarsu yesterday. Punavarsu is the quiver for the arrows, or the bow which arrows are shot out at. And so here at Pusha, they rest. And I see Pusha in a lot of ways as sort of like, she's sort of like the priestess card maybe in the tarot. There's this divine feminine wisdom, and it's about giving. It's really ultimately about helping others. This is where Jupiter in the sidereal Vedic zodiac end up getting exalted. And so some of the best results are happening. And there's good things going on. Saturn teaches us patience. Saturn teaches us discipline. Saturn teaches us hard work. Jupiter teaches us blessings, to praise God and to be grateful for everything you have. And I'm so grateful for you just to tune in today, and I'm asking you to please subscribe to my videos, share them with other people. I love your comments and you're very helpful. I do accept donations via Venmo at Cosmic Kev, Kozmickev. And we're just going to go through sign by sign right now, according to your rising sign, your moon sign, or your sun sign, if that's all you know. And we're going to start right now with Aries, and this portion of the horoscope will be focused on the Western tropical zodiac, So, greetings Aries, welcome to your horoscope. So, what we're looking at here is this is a week where the sun goes out of your 5th house into your 6th house. So that's going to happen on Friday night, okay? The other thing that's going to happen is we've got ourselves a new moon on Friday night, Saturday morning, depending on where you live. And that new moon will be in the constellation of Leo, but it also coincides with the sun moving into Virgo as far as the tropical zodiac are concerned. Well, let's talk about, first of all, the sidereal, what we're seeing. This is the first new moon in Leo of the actual visible astronomical zodiac, and it's in a constellation or lunar mansion known as Maga. Maga is the is ruled by the Petries. Its ruling planet is K2, which is the south node of the moon. So there's a lot of karma here. And, Friday is sort of like this more volatile day because we're in the Gandanta, the knot between a water sign and a fire sign. So the moon starts out in Ashlesha, and ends up in the Maga Nakshatra. And between Ashlesha, which is Cancer, and Maga, which is Leo, we have to take on a new aim. The aim between Aries and Cancer is the Rajas, the learning, and finding out what we're passionate about. Maga through Jyeshta, or Leo through Scorpio, is about building things, the tamas, and material things, which ultimately decay, but living in this kind of material world society we're in, they're actually considered to be the most important. This is also symbolic of the years of our life between 29 and 58, where we tend to have families, businesses are built, many things are structured and organized during this period of time. So Maga is symbolic also of a throne room. And Maga is also many servants. So when you're royalty, you don't get royalty because you're voted in. I mean, it's just given to you. You're part of royal bloodline, ancestral lineage, and you've got certain gifts. And the best way to describe this particular part of the sky in Western terms to me is the story of King Arthur and the Sword of the Stone. All these strong men could not get this sword out of the rock, but this young boy came and with just ease just pulled it out. And then kind of like almost embarrassed, pulls it back in. And then the strong men try to get it out again because whoever was able to remove that stone had the right to be king. And then, the heavens come down on Arthur, and it's like, yeah, you're here to do this. We can think of, like, in biblical terms, in Judaism with King David, that he knew that God was with him, and God was with his people Israel, and that he had no fear of this tyrannical giant named Goliath. And although they offered him weapons and armor and stuff, he just decided to do it like he was, chasing lions or wolves with a slingshot. It worked, he hit the beast right in his third eye, and he fell, and Goliath fell, his head got cut off and was shown to the army, and, the Philistines ran for their lives. Even though they probably could have still built him, but the fear was so great that they couldn't stand. And, David became one of the greatest kings of Israel, but he also had a lot of temptation, a lot of wickedness, but always returned back to gratitude and praise to God. So gratitude and praise to God is going to get you out of so much trouble. I can't even emphasize that. And some of you might think this is just absolutely ridiculous, and that's fine. Everyone's got a right. Every man's got a right to decide his own destiny. And so, but so for you, Aries, what we're looking at this week is acknowledging the royalness in your own heart. As the sun moves from Leo to Virgo, as the moon moves from Leo to Virgo, or, in the sidereal zodiac, Cancer to Leo. Many servants, Virgo is about service to others too. So Maga for the Western zodiac is at that cusp of the late part of Leo and the beginning part of Virgo. So there is this energy. And I always found this part, like when the moon was in early Virgo, late Leo, I always thought to myself, my God, there's a magical feeling to this. Something feels absolutely wonderful. And it is wonderful, because we are all descendants of royalty and kings and queens for the most part. And the legacy of our Creator is to exude creativity, happiness, innovation, but also to get help from others. That's why we have the many servants. And it is a throne room. And it is a place where we realize we're at a stage of responsibility. And many of us, when we turn 29, 30, we finally feel like, God, I can accomplish something. I can make a contribution. Where we don't necessarily feel that way before that. So, your communication, pay attention to that. Enhancing your home, enhancing your relationship with your parents, with the Jupiter-Venus conjunction, the lunar conjunction this week. That's really helpful. And you're, having a spiritual discipline. Get up, pray daily, pray for others, consider others as just as important as yourself, and you will move far. Greetings, Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope. Venus ruled sign. Sun moving into Virgo this week. That means Sun goes into your fifth house. You're feeling your heart. This is a time when better things start happening for you, in the sense that you're being blessed, really. And fifth house is one of the luckier houses in the zodiac. It rules education. It can rule travel. It rules your own creative expression. It rules children primarily. So if you're a parent, this is a time where your parenting becomes more important. This is a time where we look at our children more. And they're having new starts. In a lot of places, school's starting this week. And so that focus on them. And school's kind of a weird thing. I mean, because traditionally, parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents trained kids, up until a couple hundred years ago, where we started this kind of schooling, which ended up into being mandated education. And, Rockefellers and other financial oligarchs manipulated the situation, and we just have to be aware, and we have to have conversations, and that's what really helps in these situations. And so Venus is in Cancer, and just stay in your heart. It's going to be in Leo eventually, so maybe that'll go into renewing your home and bringing more value to your home. Greetings, Gemini. Welcome to your horoscope. So we've got this whole Uranus in the first house. Mars is in Libra right now. So Mars is in your fifth house. So if you have a male child, I would say pay attention to them. It's also like Mars rules risk-taking. How much risk are you doing in your creative projects? How much risk are you taking for your education? Or perhaps physical fitness, yoga, martial arts, many kinds of fitness, is really self-defense. I mean, there's all kinds of ways you could look at this. This could be part of your path right now. Venus, Jupiter, and Moon, just this week in your second house, this could be like some financial breakthroughs. There's a lot of places where people can invest, and there's some new frontier markets opening up. And so there is going to be some improvement. Also, Mercury and Sun in your third house, going to be, Sun's going to be moving into your fourth house. And so, focusing on family, older adults, your fixed assets, your house, your vehicle, and seeing what the real value is of that. Greetings, Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope. Okay, so we've got this Venus in the first house. And pardon me. Venus is in the first house, and it does go into Leo on Monday. So on Monday, Venus is going to be in Leo. I mean, in Leo, so there is a lot of expressive love in that. So we're coming to a place of more expressive love this week. And a little bit of that responsibility drops, but this is the tail end of that Jupiter-Venus conjunction. And so there's so many blessings from what they call the two benefics or the two gurus. And you just have to carry that with you as you go through the week. Overall, I'd say there's going to be enhanced communication, enhanced relationship with friends, neighbors, and you're going to be making new friends. If you're like a student, you're starting school, or you're a teacher, you're in the educational profession, you're going to meet new people. And so there's going to be environmental changes as a result of this. Greetings, Leo. Welcome to your horoscope. So with you, it's like there's been this relationship in the seventh house with Pluto. And this is the closing of your season. So Leo officially ends in the tropical zodiac on Friday at 1:34 p.m. So Friday afternoon, Leo's gone, Virgo's here. And Virgo's key phrase is I analyze. And Virgo is sort of like the magnifying glass on things. It really kind of blows up the little details. And it helps you know about foundational things. And one of the things about this whole Maga Nakshatra that the sun's moving through right now is it's knowing the roots of things. Ketu, the south node of the moon, is about the roots. It's the body without the head, and it's about gut feeling. One of my astrology teachers says, gut feeling of Ketu is superior intelligence to Mercury. And we live in kind of a more Mercury, logic, this and that. But it's like a lot of times you have to trust your gut beyond what anybody tells you. And that usually guides you in the right place. Sometimes you just don't know why. Sometimes it's like the butterfly effect. It was a slight move, but it changed everything. And you just don't always know why. And so, but you just have to trust that. And so finances, family issues are going to be more meaningful to you. It's still, I'd say overall, an okay time to travel. I think just spending a lot of time with your spiritual life. And Venus moving in your first house is going to make you more popular, more beautiful, more creative. Greetings, Virgo, and welcome to your horoscope. And, I didn't wish Leo birthdays yet, because there's Leo and Virgo birthdays this week. And, the Leo birthdays for this week, I want to wish a happy birthday to Rita Meehan down in Southern California, my brother Keith Durkin, who's in Imperial Beach right now. His birthday's today, the 20th, Wednesday the 20th. And I want to wish a happy birthday to my late grandmother, who would have been 125 today, on Thursday rather, the 21st. Happy birthday to John Glick on the 22nd rather. And happy birthday to, Michael, who's born on the 24th, to my sister-in-law, Kirsten, in Sunland, who's born on the 24th. And a happy birthday to Elvis Costello, who I believe's birthday's on either the 25th or 26th. He'll be turning 71. So, yeah, just happy birthday to late Leos, early Virgos. In this place, happy birthday to Greg Navas of Concal, Yankee Hill, having a birthday, turning 59 on the 23rd. So, in this place of expansion, in this place of becoming, it's sort of like this is sunrise for all the Virgos. This is like, okay, your season is here. Make the best of it. And one of the things I say is like Leo's like the big festival and the party, and Virgo's sort of like the cleanup crew. But the cleanup crew finds all like the money and the paraphernalia and little items left over, and there's a wealth to that. It's like, hey, after this, there's value. There's value in being a cleanup person. And so let's look at this as like, oh, it's not so much like, oh, it's a bummer the party's over. It's like, hey, look at just what happened. Look what's here now. We're making some progress here. So happy birthday to all my Virgo people going into the light. So greetings, Libra. Welcome to your horoscope. Okay, so Venus has been in Cancer, so you've been really had a lot of responsibility the last month at work, and now it's going to kind of ease up. You're going to move into your social life, your social experience, feeling some type of love from that situation. Relationships. In relationship, we're taught through like romantic comedies or whatever that love is a feeling, but love is really work. And good partnerships require work. And the best work you can do, I think, is to pray with your loved one, listen to each other's concerns, and do the best to support each other through them. You know, that's what it's about. It's supporting each other on the journey and what makes it fit. I mean, yeah, there's definitely pleasures with conjugal relationships and this feeling of balance that you get from those relationships. But most of all, it's like a relationship like that is a gift. What are you giving back? And the give back is the gift that gives people together. I mean, when I think of like Chuck and Charlotte Perot, who passed away in the last year, this is a couple that built an orphanage together to help abandoned children in Mexico. They got together when she was 16, he was 19, and everyone thought this relationship's going to end. Well, he ends up living to 95, her to 92, and they built this legacy. And if you ever want to read about it, it's called Charlotte's Children, and it's just beautiful. And having the gift of knowing both of them personally as friends, I learned a lot. They loved each other. Every day they would start with prayer with each other, and what a blessing. And so for Libra, it's like, you know, Virgo time sort of like you need to pay attention to your spiritual life. This is a good time to go on retreat, head out in the wilderness. After Labor Day, the crowds will be gone, and you'll be able to get what you need, you know, in a peace, and just kind of lay low until September 22nd, when Libra season begins, and, you know, pay attention to your spiritual life. That's the best advice I can give you right now. Plus, you got a lot of power right now. You got a lot of physical strength. You can move forward in a good way. All right. Greetings, Scorpio. Welcome to your horoscope. So Virgo time for Scorpio is actually a pretty blessed time. I mean, it's the 11th house. There could be some financial blessings. There's a lot of good social events, friends coming in your scene, and it can be very uplifting. It can be very supportive, and, you know, look for the good and praise it. Praise everything that's supporting you. Do the best you can to support everything that's supporting you, and even things that aren't supporting you. Turn the disappointment to love and to prayer and to forgiveness, and ask people what their needs are, what could be done to help them do better, to resolve their bitterness, to resolve their anger. What can be done? You know, we look, I'm saying let's look to build things up to make them better rather than wallow in our disappointment. And I need reminders too. I get disappointed sometimes. So I need people to remind me. So Scorpio, you know, with Mars in Libra, you know, you have to sort of watch your back. Not everybody's got the best intentions for you. Sun in Virgo looks good. Venus in the midheaven. You're looking better in the workplace. And Jupiter's in your 9th house. Very positive. It's a good week. You know, you're on your game, and let's just rejoice in that. Greetings, Sagittarius. Welcome to your horoscope. So we've got this Uranus in the 7th house. So you might be in an unusual relationship. And I see that happening with a lot of different people. That can happen. I have one colleague at work, and he, you know, well, he's a very charming individual, and he meets beautiful women that seem cool, but they all end up moving out of town. But, you know, he's just kind of staying his ground. I actually think for you of the male species, that's probably one of the best things you can do a lot of times is stay where you're at and work with what you got and try and make it better. Some people just constantly run from one thing to another, and that's okay. Eventually you might find what works for you, and it's important to take risks. You know, Jupiter in Cancer is helping other people. It's other people's power. It's your spouse's power, your boyfriend's power, your girlfriend's power, and just lifting them up is going to help you. Now, the weekend with Moon in Virgo, you could be working a festival, you could be a performance artist, and you could be making a lot of headway this week and making good friends. Also, like those involved in sports, you know, I think of Mars in the 11th house a lot to do with sports and athletics and supporting your football team, soccer team, baseball team. swim team, basketball team, whatever team you got. Greetings, Capricorn. Welcome to your horoscope, and certainly a good work week for you. Leo time, not easiest time for Capricorn. Because there's a lot of things unseen, and we don't always know. And even when we want to do good, it can be so difficult. We get tired, we get lazy, we just don't feel supported, and sometimes we have to support ourselves. Now, we also need to be open to other people supporting us. So as we go in the last couple days of Leo, it's like other people helping you. Don't be so proud that you don't accept help. Accept the help and move forward. And then go out and help others. Ninth house is often helping others. Ninth house is being philanthropic. It's about giving. Giving is a true living. And it's also about an adventure. It's being open to exotic cultures that aren't yours, and travel and higher education and specializing in something in a good way. And because it's another earth sign too, it's like, yeah, things ease up. And we don't always notice when things ease up. We notice when things are challenging. And so giving thanks, always gratitude, start a gratitude journal, because the next 4.5 weeks are going to be amazing for Capricorn. All right, greetings, Aquarius. Welcome to your horoscope. You got a lot of insights now because of Pluto in the first house. Virgo time is not necessarily the easiest time. So you're going from this focus on relationship, maybe even career or business agreements, deals, trying to make peace, to a place where that stuff's not really in your control. And really, you have to give it to the divine. You have to ask grandfather, grandmother, Adonai, Yeshua, all these names of God, Creator, Great Spirit, and just with that sincerity of heart, reveal yourself to me in the light so I can get through this time. Also, let me give to others and accept gifts for others and ask for help when I need it to get through this particular time period. Because once we get to the end of September and we're in Libra time, things are going to ease up quite a bit. And you've got a willingness right now to take risks. And I think a lot of them are going to produce good fruit, that you're going to be very lucky right now. And I think just being in a spiritual community could be very helpful for you right now. A lot of times third house is community, spiritual discipline. It may not be easy, but it will produce fruit. It's just like weeding a garden and constantly watering it at the right time. It's how we do have better fruit in our life. All right, greetings, Pisces. Welcome to your horoscope. So here we have North Node in the first house. The South Node will be in the 7th house. So what you have to say is that if you're in a relationship as a Pisces, you've got karma with this person. And a lot of the people around you have a lot of innovative ideas that are really good. There's also a little bit of maybe kind of salesmanish kind of energy where not everyone's coming out completely honest or forthright about what they're about. We see this a lot of times in political figures. They just act like their stuff doesn't stink and that they deserve to be your leader, and you look around and the people say, well, you got to vote for them anyhow because what's worse, that's going to be worse. And it's like, well, I don't know if we're getting the whole story. Most of the spin of journalism is sponsored by people who already have large enough laps to survive. And so if you want that to continue to survive, people with large laps, and just keep on doing what you're doing, I suppose. If you're really wanting change, so you've got to be the change. You've got to support those who you feel are worth supporting, even if they don't seem like they have a chance of winning. If there is an inkling that they're doing the right thing, there's an energy that's sent out with that. It's sort of a humble energy, of a place of beginning. But that humble beginnings energy is like a young shoot of grass. It bends easy. It doesn't break so easy. And eventually it grows into a beautiful big tree that we rely on for shade and for fruit and for all these other wonderful things. And you are going to be a part of that. And so Virgo is your partnership sign. This is where romance, love, better jobs, better things are going to come in for you. And Jupiter in Cancer is supporting you. It supports your children. The moon being in there for, earlier today. And then even when it goes, this weekend looks very romantic. It looks lovely for you. And many desires will be met. And you just have to be patient and you have to be chill, and eventually you're going to be able to take the risk you need and move forward in the way you need to move forward, because you've got that spiritual, you've learned some things from spiritual discipline, and you're about to manifest. And my prayer for you is that all my followers, all the people that watch this will manifest what they need, and that they'll get the peace in their life that they want, personally and for all the relations, and that we can live together, grow, and learn from each other from this point on. So thank you so much for being here. You are such a blessing to me. So yes, thank you, Wordsley. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, John and Colleen. Thank you, Shant. Thank you, all the people that comment on this, who are subscribing, who are sharing, who are following or blessing me with donations. You people are amazing, and may that blessing come back to you tenfold. Om Shanti 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 Om Tat Sat.